All right, so picture this, a sky just like ripping open with lightning, and the earth is like trembling beneath your feet.
Yeah.
That's the kind of power. I mean, we're talking Zeus, king of the gods.
Oh, yeah.
So was he really like this untouchable ruler of Olympus, or was it all built on fear and maybe even, betrayal?
Hmm.
For you folks out there who, really want to get this story, we're going to unpack how he got to the top, his secrets, all that stuff, the myths, that have stuck with him for like forever, the myths that have stuck with him, for millennia.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating when you look at where Zeus's power comes from is this kind of repeating pattern, right? Like a cycle of taking over. Like our sources are very clear about how Zeus's own father, right? Cronus, he got control by like pushing out his own dad, Uranus. And it wasn't just like, oh, I want power. It really set this up, this like mood of paranoia where like every leader is always looking over their shoulder. It makes you think like, can you ever really be at peace if you've got all the power?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a domino effect, but like a mythological domino effect.
Right.
And Cronus, he knows exactly how he got to the top. So he gets totally consumed with this fear that his own kids are going to do the same thing to him.
Oh, yeah.
And his solution is wild, like brutally swallowing each of his children, like as soon as they're born.
Yeah.
Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, Poseidon. I mean, think about that for a second.
It's intense.
What does that tell us about how he ruled?
Yeah, exactly. It's like this monstrous act, but it shows us, deep down, he's so insecure even as a leader.
Yeah.
Like he's got the power, but he's terrified of losing it.
Right.
It shows this big tension, right? That just having power doesn't mean you feel safe with it. It's like a human thing or maybe a god thing, I guess. But we see it even today.
Totally. But Rhea, Cronus' wife, and the mother of all these, swallowed children, she finally had enough. When Zeus is born, she pulls off this awesome trick. She hides him away in a cave on the island of Crete.
Clever.
The sources describe this really smart move. She takes a stone, wraps it up in beady clothes, gives it to Cronus, and he just swallows it whole. No questions asked.
Just like that.
And that gave young Zeus the time he desperately needed.
Yeah, he needed that time.
For sure. So for you listening, what's really interesting here is this whole time, Zeus is growing up in secret.
Right.
Raised by nymphs, fed by the milk of this goat.
Amalthea?
Amalthea.
It's a cool name.
It is a cool name.
Right.
So it's not just like he's growing up physically. This is like secret training for the power that's going to let him challenge Cronus one day.
Right. It's like building up in the shadows.
Yeah, it's like this hidden phase that shows us sometimes the biggest forces are the ones we don't even see yet.
Totally.
Okay, so years go by, Zeus is getting stronger in secret, and then the time comes, for the big showdown.
Oh, yeah, this is it.
The sources say Zeus comes back, and with a little trickery...
Some say he used a potion.
Oh, interesting.
He makes Cronus throw up all those siblings he swallowed.
Can you imagine that family reunion?
Oh, my God.
Talk about some family drama, right?
Seriously, but this is bigger than just a family fight. This kicks off a massive war, like a war across the universe. The Titanomachy.
Yeah, it's not just like a family squabble.
Yeah.
This is like a full-on cosmic war.
Yeah.
The Titanomachy, like the gods versus the Titans, right?
Oh, guard.
Yeah, the old guard. And our sources paint this picture of the universe like in chaos,
Yeah.
Skies are on fire, oceans are going crazy, mountains are crumbling.
It's like the end of the world.
Yeah, for 10 years, this insane battle for like the very order of everything.
And right in the middle of all this cosmic chaos, Zeus pulls out his secret weapon.
Oh, yeah.
The legendary lightning bolt.
Those lightning bolts.
So the story goes, the Cyclops, who Cronus had locked up in Tartarus.
Oh, well, yeah, in Tartarus, yeah.
They forged these super powerful weapons to thank Zeus for setting them free.
Talk about finding the right allies at the right time.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
So for you folks out there, this is huge. It shows how new power and the right team can totally change the game in any fight.
For sure, these lightning bolts were like the key to Zeus winning.
And when he did with those devastating weapons, he finally beats the Titans, throws Cronus down into Tartarus, the worst prison you can imagine.
Yeah, deepest, darkest place imaginable.
And that's how he takes over Mount Olympus.
He's the top dog now.
Seems like a clean win right into story.
Yeah, you'd think so. But here's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
Even though he's got all this power, our sources show us this kind of unsettling truth about Zeus's reign. He's always insecure.
Really?
Always trying to prove he's in charge.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you wonder if anyone with absolute power ever really feel safe.
That's when it gets really good. This god who just won a universe-shattering war is always scheming, jealous, trying to control everything and everyone, gods and mortals alike. Like he can't trust anyone.
Right. It's like taking power made him distrust everyone around him. He was going to think about power, to corrupt people.
Big time. And his personal life, according to the sources, didn't exactly help things stay stable.
Oh, yeah. What happened there?
We're talking tons of love affairs. Some he wanted, some he didn't, with goddesses and mortal women. And these weren't just flings. These turned into messy relationships, powerful kids.
Wow.
Setting the stage for even more conflict down the road.
Right. These relationships show a different side of Zeus. A darker side.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about boundaries or letting others be free. It's like, even with all that power, he's still driven by his own desires, and it has all these consequences, usually bad ones.
And from these relationships come some legendary figures. Hercules, Perseus, Athena, although her birth story is totally wild.
We'll save that for another time.
I have to say that for another time.
Another deep dive.
Exactly. So these figures, they add to his glory, but our sources also say they could be seen as threats, future challengers to his throne.
Like he's making his own rivals without even realizing it.
Right, and that leads us to the prophecy. It's like this theme in stories about powerful rulers, and it definitely messed with Zeus's head, the prediction that one of his kids would eventually come for him and take over.
Oh, yeah, classic prophecy.
Continuing the cycle he started.
Full circle.
Yeah, this fear is always there throughout his reign.
Looming over him.
So with all of this going on, the violent rise power, the need to control everything, the crazy personal life, and this prophecy hanging over his head.
Yeah.
How do the myths say Zeus's story ends?
Right.
What's interesting is our sources give us a few different possibilities, so we're not totally sure what happened to him.
Well, that's interesting.
The fact that there are these different stories about how it ends for Zeus is important,
Yeah.
Some say he ruled forever, like his power over Olympus never ended.
Okay.
Others say things ended badly, like he gets eaten by not his father, but like the god of time.
Oh, wow.
Implying that even the king of the gods can't escape time. For you thinking about it, this shows us how powerful time is. It affects everything.
You can't escape it.
You can't escape it. And then there's the idea that his own pride, his flaws and all the crazy stuff he did would lead to his downfall.
Like his own undoing.
Yeah, it's that classic tragic story, even for a god.
Right.
The fact that the myths have all these different endings makes us really think about the nature of power. Can anyone hold on to it forever?
It makes you think, is any kind of rule really absolute and forever? Are there limits even for a god with lightning bolts?
Yeah.
And does the way you get power and keep it affect how long it lasts?
Right.
These are questions that people are still asking today.
Powerful questions. So for those of you who took this deep dive with us, what do you think? Was Zeus a good ruler who brought order to the universe?
Yeah.
Or was he a tyrant whose rule was based on fear and kept going through force and lies?
What do you think?
We want to hear from you. Head down to the comments and let us know your thoughts. Let's keep talking about this.
Yeah. And if you're into this whole Zeus thing, hit that like button, share this deep dive with your friends, subscribe so you don't miss out on our next adventure into the past.
Yeah.
Your support helps keep these old stories alive.
Absolutely. And if you're curious about other myths, legends, historical figures, let us know down in the comments. We're always looking for our next deep dive.
Always.
Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. Until next time.
Keep asking questions. Keep exploring these stories. And remember, even the most powerful people have weaknesses and complicated legacies.
We'll see you on the next deep dive.